Hey everyone. Sorry it's taking me so long for this month's rec. I've been busy with the house stuff, with some new stuff in, throwing some old stuff out. It's just been a busy time. This is my cat Nina. Say hi, Nina. She's too busy with the other stuff. This month's Reco. This month's Reco recommendation, mine, is The Island of Lost Souls. Now, a lot of you say, that's a universal horror. That's sort of mainstream, isn't it? Well, yeah, kind of. But there is an illustrious history with this. If you're a fan of pre-code movies, the pre-code era movies, this was one of the major ones. This little baby here started the ban of American horror movies in Britain. And I think it got carried on until the 70s, and then around the 80s you had the video nasty period, which started banning a lot of other stuff. Based on H.G.Wells, I don't know exactly where. Stars Charles Martin, a fine performance, might I add. Yeah, a lot of them tried to defend this movie and tried to defend American horror movies as flights of fancy and stuff. And then there was this story where Ella Lanchester was doing some media rounds for one of her movies. I think it was probably either Frankenstein or something else. And they had brought on how this movie is immoral. This movie goes against God. And then Ella Lanchester said, well, yeah, so does Mickey Mouse. You know, trying to juxtapose H.G.Wells' foresight into genetic rearrangement, plastic surgery, into anthropomorphic mice. It's got great features on it. Mother's Bomb, and Cassell, Gerald Cassell of Devo, talk about how this movie inspired them to create Devo. It's mainly they were playing around with art and wanted to get in on this new way of the future of music at the time, when synths and electronics were now being introduced. And they were watching a midnight movie horror host, and one of the movies was Island of Lost Souls, and that was one of the great sparks to create Devo. You also have Landis talking about it, John Landis, Rick Baker talking about how great the meat effects were, and he really focuses on how this movie revolutionized hair appliances and hair applique to fur and everything, and how it was a revolutionary process. David Scull, who's a great historian on the American horror scene. I know there's Richard Stanley. That's the one I want to talk about. Richard Stanley was set to make the remake of this. I think it was for Universal or you. Richard, if you're not don't know who Richard Stanley is, he made a brilliant science fiction movie called Hardware, and it was sort of one of the forebears of the cyberpunk genre in film. And he was supposed to do the remake, but then they told him Now we're shutting stuff down. So he says, okay, cool, I'll just take a vacation. And then he realized that they did it to minimize his end, and they brought in, I think, Freddy Abominable, movie with Brando and Kilmer. But Richard Stanley had some brilliant ideas and notions that really meshed with H.G.Wells' story. And he was bringing it to the next level. It's a shame we didn't see it. Stanley is highly underrated as a writer. This is the first time it's been on disc media. Yeah, it's been on VHS, but when DVD came on, and then the Blu Ray, for the longest time, out of all the Universal Monster movies, this was not printed out. You could find The Invisible Agent. I think, The Invisible Woman. You find all 3 creature movies, but you could not find this on a DVD. And if you got the DVD disc, congratulations, you got it on the first time of DVD. And this is the first time on the Blu-ray. Highly suggest to get this if you're a fan of Universal Horror, or if you are getting into pre-code movies, or you're a Charles Lawton fan, or you're an H.G.Wells fan. It's worth it. I got this for $25. It's probably up in price now. And it's a Criterion. That's the brand of greatness. It's that. But yeah, this is my rec for June. And I hope you enjoy this film. It's very wonderful, very great. Are we not men? We are psycho. See ya.